Optical illusions have fascinated people for centuries, tricking the brain into seeing things that aren't really there or perceiving something in a way that's contrary to reality. Here's a look at the top 10 most mind-blowing optical illusions that continue to amaze and challenge our perception. 1. The impossible triangle, Penrose Triangle. The Penrose Triangle, or impossible triangle, was created by Swedish artist Oskar Reubens in 1934 and later popularized by mathematicians Roger Penrose and Lionel Penrose. This shape appears to be a solid, three-dimensional object with an impossible structure. Each corner of the triangle seems to connect in a way that defies logic, creating an endless loop that the mind tries to resolve but can't, revealing the limits of our spatial understanding. 2. The cafe wall illusion. Named after the pattern on a cafe wall in Bristol, UK, this illusion tricks you into seeing crooked lines in a straight pattern. Alternating light and dark bricks are staggered in rows, separated by gray mortar lines, making the horizontal lines appear to slope, although they're perfectly parallel. This effect is due to the way our brain perceives the contrasting colors and gaps, creating a distortion that bends reality. 3. The spinning dancer illusion. This is a classic illusion created by Nobuyuki Kayahara that shows a silhouette of a dancer spinning in one direction, until you suddenly see her spinning in the opposite direction. The spinning dancer is a bistable image, meaning it can be interpreted in multiple ways. Depending on how you focus, the dancer may spin clockwise or counterclockwise, playing with our brain's perception of depth and motion. 4. The checker shadow illusion. First created by Edward Adelson, this illusion is a perfect example of how our brain interprets shadows and lighting. The illusion features a checkerboard pattern with two squares labeled A and B. Although square B appears much lighter than square A, they are actually the same shade of gray. Our brain's automatic interpretation of shadow makes us believe B is lighter, demonstrating how context heavily influences perception. 5. The Muller liar illusion. This optical illusion involves two lines of the same length, but with opposite arrowheads at their ends. One line has inward-facing arrowheads, and the other has outward-facing ones. Most people perceive the line with the outward-facing arrowheads as longer, even though both lines are identical in length. This illusion reveals how our brain interprets depth and spatial cues, tricking us into seeing things that aren't accurate. 6. The Kitza Triangle. The Kitza Triangle is a remarkable example of how our brains try to fill in missing information. Created by Italian psychologist Gaetano Canizza, the illusion uses three Pac-Man shapes and three V-shapes arranged in a way that suggests the outline of a triangle. Although there is no actual triangle present, our brains automatically create one to make sense of the image, showing how we often fill in blanks to create whole objects. 7. The Ames room illusion. The Ames room is a trapezoidal room that appears to be a normal rectangular room when viewed from a certain angle. This illusion, created by ophthalmologist Adelbert Ames Jr., tricks the viewer into seeing people or objects as dramatically different in size. One side of the room is shorter in both height and width, but when observed from a specific point, it looks like both sides are equal, creating a mind-bending distortion of size and perspective. 8. The Lilac Chaser. The Lilac Chaser is an illusion that involves a circle of lilac-colored dots with one missing, rotating in a sequence. If you stare at the center, the lilac dots gradually disappear, and a green dot seems to replace them. This illusion combines two optical phenomena, afterimage effect and apparent motion, showcasing how focusing on one point can cause colors and shapes to vanish or morph. 9. The Hermon Grid. The Hermon Grid illusion was discovered by German physiologist Ludimar Hermann in 1870 and consists of a grid of black squares with white lines intersecting between them. When you look at the grid, faint gray blobs appear at the intersections, which disappear when you look directly at them. This illusion occurs due to the way our eyes process contrast, creating false shading at intersections. 10. The Reubens vase figure ground illusion. This illusion, created by Danish psychologist Edgar Reubens, can be seen as either two faces in profile looking at each other or a vase in the center. Known as a figure ground illusion, this image demonstrates how the brain struggles to perceive both images simultaneously, toggling back and forth. This illusion highlights the way we prioritize one object as the figure, while the other becomes the background, only to alternate perceptions with a slight shift in focus. These illusions reveal the complexities and limitations of human perception. They remind us that seeing isn't always believing and that our brains are constantly working to make sense of the world, even if it means bending reality. Whether they're showcasing the impact of contrast, motion, or depth cues, these optical illusions provide fascinating insights into the intricacies of our visual processing system, keeping us captivated by the world of perception.